We have a bit of a good news story for you today. Kids versus government. Kids 1, government 0. Apparently, kids are actually bypassing age verification requirements by using fake moustaches. This story comes to us from Modernity. Age verification psyop. Kids bypass government tech with fake moustaches. The government's online safety crusade exposed as children outwit facial recognition with eyebrow pencils. The UK government's much hyped age verification system for social media has been reduced to a joke overnight, and the punchline is being delivered by school kids armed with makeup pencils and fake facial hair. A damning new report from Internet Matters reveals that more than a third of UK children have already figured out how to dodge the latest quote-unquote safeguards imposed under the Draconian Online Safety Act. Methods include entering fake birthdays, borrowing logins, and most hilariously, drawing on fake moustaches to fool facial age estimation tech. One parent admitted catching her son using an eyebrow pencil. The system promptly verified him. Here is a headline from the mainstream media in the UK about the fake moustaches with a really comical picture there. And this comes as ministers double down on plans to restrict or outright ban social media access for under 16s. Just days ago, Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson and Junior Minister Olivia Bailey confirmed the government will impose some form of age or functionality restrictions, regardless of whether a full ban is enacted. A national consultation on the policy closes later this month, with pilots already running in hundreds of homes, testing bans, time limits, and digital curfews. But the farce unfolding in real time shows exactly why these measures were always doomed to fail, or more cynically, why they were designed to fail. And I want to talk about that more in a minute, because some people online are saying, I suspect it's fake news so they can push for ID verifications. Ding, 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 ding. Either the architects of this scheme are completely incompetent, which, some of them are, or this is a deliberate ploy to make the whole thing look ridiculous. Why? To curtail resistance and downplay the inevitable next step, mandatory digital ID. And we said this when this was rolled out in Australia, actually, and it didn't work instantly. A lot of young people were still getting online. Some people were, printing out AI images of adults and using that, like holding that up to their phones. Of course, there are a myriad of different ways. Young humans are very, very inventive, especially when it comes to getting around the rules. But maybe that was always the point. You introduce this as keeping children safe. You introduce it in a way that fails and say, right, well, this just isn't working. We need to go the next step, the next measure, which was always going to be digital ID. Always. It really does bring me joy to see so many people switched on social media when I see comments like this. Age verification, or more properly defined as identity verification, was designed to fail so that the government could push for a full-blown digital ID system. The people behind this are utterly dastardly and Machiavellian, and their lust for total power over their fellow man. Yes, eventually there will be no workaround for any of us, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say, I agree. The article goes on, we've seen this playbook before when Apple began forcing iPhone users to prove their age with government ID or lose unrestricted internet access. We warned it was the thin end of the wedge. And the government digital ID scheme is already being rolled out, dystopian experiment in mass surveillance, with critics warning it will make proving your identity online unavoidable for everything from banking to browsing. And it's not just Britain. The EU is charging ahead with its own war on online freedom, forcing age verification and going after VPNs in the name of quote-unquote saving the children that they all care about. Meanwhile, none of them have called for arrests for the Epstein class, but they really care about saving the children, guys, while quietly building the infrastructure for continent-wide censorship and tracking. And the article also points out something very interesting about quote-unquote hacks. Just coincidentally, the EU's own age verification system was defeated in minutes after it was soft launched in April. So now, of course, there needs to be a further crackdown. This relates to the EU's age verification app actually getting hacked in under 2 minutes. Hacked. Who's out there hacking it? Probably they're hacking themselves to then justify going even harder on the population. I mean, this is just so transparent. It's not even funny. This was never about protecting kids. They don't care about kids. It's about control. Every failed quote unquote safety measure provides the perfect excuse to demand even stricter verification, biometric scans, national digital IDs, device level monitoring. The moustache kids aren't the problem. They're exposing the con. In the US, President Trump has already drawn a line in the sand, declaring war on the Euro-style censorship machine and vowing to smash any UK-EU internet crackdown that threatens free speech. I'm going to challenge that just a little bit there. I'm going to push back, even though those statements have been made. Multiple members of the Trump administration, including some of his closest MAGA supporters, are very aggressively introducing the same sort of legislation that we see across the UK, the EU, Australia. Most notably, we covered a recent bill that was introduced. Elise Stefanik partnered with a Democrat on it to basically enforce ID verification or some sort of identification at the operating system level. So this goes even further than just apps. They want to actually mandate Apple, Windows, Mac, any operating system to force people to identify themselves in order to even use a device, let alone access the internet. So I would say in the US, it's, by the looks of it, even far more aggressive than some of these other countries. And the article says, while the UK government chases headlines with performative child safety gestures, and by the way, this is all of them, all governments do them, including here in the US, they're all using child safety as the excuse, that collapse under the weight of a 12-year-old with a makeup pencil. The real threat isn't social media, it's the authoritarian apparatus being built in its name. And we agree with that. So while this all may be a psyop, we actually really like the idea of kids getting around this using their mum's eyebrow pencil to draw a moustache. And it's entertaining to think of all the different ways that humanity will actually always overcome the tyrants. We do it through humor. We do it through ways that they would never think of. These self-proclaimed elites are actually not creative people. All they know is evil and control and mass censorship, mass surveillance, putting the boot on the neck. While human beings actually, throughout history, have thrived under persecution. This is particularly prominent when you look at a prominent trait when you look at Christian persecution throughout history, for example, or any totalitarian government. Humans always overcome these systems, and whether they overcome them physically, and of course I don't mean violence here, I mean through tangible measures, or within spiritually with their own will, they always overcome. Those who want to anyway. So if you're keeping your finger on the pulse of all of these things, of course, be involved and push back, particularly when it comes to what's happening in the US, because it is a violation of the First Amendment to do any of this age verification stuff here, as multiple courts have proven. We should be pushing back, but I'm confident that the human spirit is going to survive no matter